sometimes when you move to a new city and you don't have any friends there, and you get a job really quickly that you don't like so that you can quickly prove that you have reliable income so that you can get a house that's a real house that you can rent so that you can get out of the terrible Airbnb where the host won't let you have your comic collection, but then the house that you start renting is too far from the job that you don't like, so you have to spend all day in traffic because the city you live in is really freaking big and there's too many people to be allowed. Not every time, but sometimes when you do that, you start to get a little bit sad, a little tuckered out in the general soul place. But it's important to remember that if that happens to you, the best way that you can fix that is by going to a comic convention and buying a whole bunch of comics. This is actually highly recommended as a great permanent solution to the problem. Howdy, I'm Kurt Williams, and I just moved to Atlanta a few weeks ago, and the Atlanta Comic Convention is the first convention I've had the chance to go to so far. Apparently, they do this every month, which is pretty neat. It only cost $5, and that came with this neat t-shirt that I'll probably never wear again, but I'm wearing it now, and this is an immortal video, so there you go. So let's take a look at what I got. The most important thing that I bought at this convention was a trade paperback version of Longshot. Longshot is my favorite comics character. I already have the 6-issue miniseries in individual issue form, of course, and I also have a graded copy of issue 1 signed by Will Sportasio and Arthur Adams and Ann Nocenti, which was my 5,000th comic. But I've been missing it on my bookshelf. I really just want to be able to grab it and show people how great this is, the really early Arthur Adams art. I spent probably more than I would like to have spent on it, but the last time I passed up a good deal on it, I really regretted it, so I grabbed it when I saw it. I also got this trade paperback version of Asgardian Wars that has issues 1 and 2 of The Gift by Chris Claremont and Paul Smith, which was one of the first X-Men comics I ever owned, so it holds a special place in my heart, as well as Uncanny X-Men Annual 9, I believe, and another annual of New Mutants. If you've ever seen Storm dressed up like Thor before, this is what it's from. It's great stuff. I love it. Can't wait to have it on my bookshelf. Next, I got this super neat hardcover copy of Superman from the 30s to the 70s. It's got a bunch of old newspaper strips in there. Really campy stuff. I love having compilations like this just so I can get a good overview of the history of a character. It's a little beat up, but I think this copy is from 1971, which is pretty sick. Next, I've got a good hardcover copy of Kick-Ass. I've already got Kick-Ass 2, and I think I already have Kick-Ass 3. It just felt silly not having the original on my bookshelf as well. So that's a nice hole that I filled. And then I'm really excited about this one. I finally got my hands on some cheap Buck Rogers. I didn't have any Buck Rogers in my collection at all before this because I could just never find it at a price that worked for me. This says it's the collected works of Buck Rogers in the 25th century, which made me think that maybe it was all of it, but there's no way it could possibly be all of it. But it says on the back here it's a careful selection from the strips which ran from 1929 to 1968 and a tribute to the creators of a genuine American culture hero. So we've got lots of great daily newspaper strips there, as well as these Sunday specials. That's so cool. And then they've got an encyclopedia that's specific to the comic strip with things like Pellucidar, Paralandra, Petra Ray. This is maximum geek energy and I'm super stoked about it. One of the coolest parts of comic conventions is that you get to meet actual comic creators in person, and I met Ben Lacey at this one, who has this series called Shark of War. I haven't read it yet, but it looks super goofy in the best way, and he was super nice. He also gave me this free mini-zine called Samson. And you know what, now that I look at it, I think I actually recognize the artist from an indie comics creators site on Facebook. That guy, Jonesbas Cranio, or however you pronounce that. I feel like I've talked to this guy before. So anyway, that's super cool. Make sure that you're supporting local artists whenever you go to comic conventions. I always try. Next, I got this little mini comic called Jenny Finn by Mike Mignola and Troy Nixie. Truthfully, I didn't buy it. My girlfriend bought it because it's got an octopus on there and she's obsessed with octopuses because she's a weirdo. But we got some pretty cool art in there. Look at these little goobers. I also found a nice cheap copy of Lost Dogs by Jeff Lemire. This is the first thing that Lemire published, I'm pretty sure, and it helped catapult him into the fame that he has now, so I'm pretty excited to finally get a good look at it. And then I got all these dollar issues. Most of the time when I'm buying dollar issues at this point, I'm either filling holes or I'm trying to find good covers that I can put as my prop in the videos. And I did get some of those. I got this cool Flying Saucers cover, an issue of U.S. Air Force, this issue of Thor that I was missing, Doc Weird's Thrill book, I just like the cover, The Vault of What The, looks like a satire book. I've heard arguments that this is the first published appearance of Longshot, and I already have a copy, but it was $1, so why not? This is a collection of 3 issues of Samurai Penguin, and with a name like that, you bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna buy it. Captain Victory and the Galactic Rangers. Nat Rat, The Dark Knight Returns. This is an issue of X-Men that I of course already have, but I've got something of a plan brewing with this. An issue of New Mutants to replace the absolutely terrible copy that I already have. An issue of Man-Bat. I didn't have any of those before. And this random issue of Power Man and Iron Fist. I think that's Frank Miller art on the cover. Maybe I'm wrong. It might just be Klaus Janson. Either way, it looks pretty cool. And that is it. In case anybody's curious, I'm finally getting out of this Airbnb. We're going to move into our new house on Friday, and then hopefully soon after that I'll be setting up my real studio with my real comic collection. I'm looking forward to it so much. Oh my goodness. But until then, I want to know what you've been reading. What's good? What's bad? What do you have really strong opinions about? Do you want to fight about anything? I like fighting. Also, check this out.